Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Co-op Kings. But I'm trying to call this welcome to Coffee and Co-op with Nate. That's right. So I figure, you know what? I'm gonna wake up. First thing I'm doing when I'm waking up is I'm getting ready to work. I'm getting ready to stream. So I figure, why not have my cold brew while we play some co-op? Not only warming up, but waking up and getting ready for a fun day of ladder. We're gonna be workshopping the ideas for what we're gonna name this series and all that quite a few times, I imagine. But I'll try to give you guys something nice and relaxing. So with that being said, we are gonna be following along with our journey still on Swann. We have the first Swann prestige talent. I want to go and max out every single co-op commander. You guys know me. The Co-op King series didn't start up because I was trying to become a de facto ruler of the co-op StarCraft scene. It happened because I really enjoy playing co-op. Thankfully, we get a pretty easy mission here. I'm just playing brutal, random mission. Just brutal, random mission. Nothing crazy. Not going to try and get into anything too wild. We'll have mutation episodes, I think. Is one of the things that I will want to do down the line. Just, some mutator episodes, basically. So far, the only thing I recently just unlocked was, the Vespine Harvesters. I've got those now. I did not really unlock too much else, right? I don't think I can get Thor's still. I don't think I have the self-repairing. I don't have the multiple building, unfortunately. But we'll get that all together. So there's a really good coffee shop, actually, down the street from where I live now in Las Vegas, in case any of you guys missed that. Nate moved to Vegas around the end of May. I got our perdition turrets are cheap, right? So let's try and get a Flaming Betty. I don't know if this will build fast enough. But we can try. Thank you for the sub, Wartooth 645. I'm still gonna be running my stream while I'm doing these matches and whatnot, because why not? At the start of my streams, nobody's ever here yet for the most part, right? So I don't really have to worry too much about the people who don't want to watch the co-op content. So yeah, it's really cool coffee place. I just get like a regular boring cold brew. Oh no, don't destroy my Flaming Betty. This girl is on fire. No, that's not bad. I do like that. It is only 75 minerals, right? This is one of those things I personally just never really use in co-op, but you can even get the range upgrade for the Flaming Betty. And like that alone kind of, on a ramp like this with the cone and the damage, it's not something that I've ever really considered a whole lot for my co-op gameplay. And I think one of the reasons why is because, I've had that Swann power spike of being level 15 now, literally since the month that Legacy of the Void came out. Swann was the first commander that I fell in love with and played a lot, and probably played too much. You already called me War Butt. I guess it can't get any worse. Well, I thought that your name was War Buffle. I thought you were War Buffle, who is another fantastic person that comes into the stream. I did correct myself mid-sentence. I do apologize. At the same time, I am only human. I'm not Dancer. That is the tragedy. War Buffle does come around regularly. He's a cool guy. Pays his taxes. I don't think he has a family locked in his basement being forced to apply lotion or anything like that. I think we're good in that department. If he is one of those people, and I've never met him before, don't know anything about him, he only came into my stream once and I never saw him again. I've also got my water. Thinking about Las Vegas, I've been here a few times, and it's kind of like, it's basically survival 101. When you're out in the desert, people are like, oh, it's hot and it's dry, drink a lot, etc. But when you're on a trip to Vegas, you kind of know that, and you're usually consuming a lot of alcohol, right? So you're kind of naturally trying to check your hydration and make sure that you're drinking enough water. But something that I'd never really thought about, I don't know if you guys have ever had an experience like this, but since I moved here, I'm obviously not drinking every single day. In fact, I had, I think, a White Claw yesterday and about a shot of bourbon that I just kind of sipped out of a glass. And now those two things combined are not really enough to mess somebody up. I'm like 240 pounds right now with my quarantine weight. So I asked myself, how is it that I woke up this morning feeling like I had the most gnarly hangover? And this is something that started to happen to me every now and again. And I didn't feel even buzzed. I had those drinks at maybe, I think I had that one drink on stream. So like 2 o'clock or something, I just had a White Claw. And I had a little bit of glass while I was just playing some games last night. And obviously none of that is going to be the type of stuff to mess you up. I do drink water and stuff, but you know, I've started to realize that there really is just like, if you don't sit down and actually make sure you're getting enough water that you actually need. Since I moved here, the air is so dry. It takes so much out of you without you realizing it. That's kind of been like my whole thing that I've been dealing with since the Vegas move, is trying to make sure to check those hydration levels. Because I wake up today and I've got, man, you know, we just got the golden retriever. I've had a golden. He turns, actually I think today's his birthday. Well, it's not his birthday, but his birthday's in November. But he's officially 8 months old today. So he's officially 8 months old. Who's our opponent, by the way? Marine Tank Medic. Oh, okay. Well, we could probably just kill him with lots of Hellions, honestly. So he's 8 months old today, and he just got fixed on Monday. So he's very energetic. He gets very wild. They were like, okay, well, we're gonna have you give him these painkillers every 12 hours, basically. They're not super strong, but they're gonna calm him down a little bit. It's gonna make him a little drowsy, so that, because he's a golden retriever. He likes to jump around. He likes to climb on stuff. He likes to play rough sometimes, and obviously for many reasons, after a surgical procedure, you don't want to be trying to do too many athletic moves. And let me tell you, my golden retriever, Lewis, he's very, very athletic. So basically, we spent kind of like the last day just getting up really, really early. So I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like such crap. And I'm like, well, you know, it's like 7 o'clock. I give Lewis breakfast. I give him his meds because they don't want me to feed him really late. So that means I have to kind of line up his dinner to be around 6 or 7. And I'm just like, well, I want to start my stream at 10 o'clock. I want to kind of get my day going, but I just feel like absolute shit. Like, excuse my language. I just feel like absolute crap because I don't even know that I slept bad, but you know, like I just wasn't, I guess, just paying enough attention to my own hydration levels, even though I wasn't really drinking a lot. Part of that, I guess, not really drinking a lot might be why I wasn't as aware. Was that weird? If I had had another beer or two, I might have made sure to chug a couple glasses of water before I went to sleep, and then I would have been fine. But since I didn't drink really any water yesterday after my first glass when I started my stream. And yeah, I don't know if that's something that happens to a lot of people that live in dry climate areas. I never had anything like that happen to me in LA, and I always thought, you know, that was a little bit more dry, especially since I didn't live by the water. But yeah, you know, that's kind of you kind of learn those interesting things about living in different places. Kind of like how I can't handle cold weather at all, because, and actually I think living in Vegas will have made that worse. We'll see. The winters here are supposed to be cold, so it could help rebalance me. But man, I'll tell you what, I used to wait for my school bus in Scranton. I used to wait for my school bus in Scranton at like 5 in the morning. I lived so far in the sticks that the bus depot was actually maybe a mile away from my house. Yeah, the bus depot was by my house. That's how you know I lived in the middle of nowhere, right? They keep those depots in places where they know there will never be traffic, so that it can't mess with people going to school. So naturally, I find myself waiting. Usually, yeah, at about 5:45, the buses would show up between 5:45 and 6 a.m. And you know, in Scranton, especially, I mean, Scranton's kind of like in a valley-ish area. This where I lived for about, I'd say maybe like 2/3 of my childhood was just a little bit outside up in the mountains. And not only, right, we're talking about like 1,700 feet elevation. I don't really know the meters conversion for that, but maybe I'll check it. But we're talking like -5 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be, I think, around like -15 Celsius. that's what I would wait for my school bus in as like, as like a 10-year-old. And if you missed it, you're just completely boned, because there's literally no way that you're going to be able to walk to town. The school that I went to was about 7 miles away, so literally impossible to try and make that walk, considering even if I could somehow get there in 3 hours, I would be dead and probably not perform very well in my classes and all that jazz. But now, as an adult, having lived 5 years in LA, 1 year in Rancho, and now out in Vegas, every time I go home to see my family, it's awful, actually. It's so bad. They call me tropical person and all that, because I just absolutely cannot deal with the cold, because it's just so bad. But I have heard that the Vegas winters do get a bit chilly, so that will hopefully help balance me out a little bit. Should be nice. 500-ish meters? Okay, yeah, so 500-ish meters elevation. Yeah. In Vermont, it can get super dry during the winter, and you got your first humidifier that would run overnight. Yeah, we've got 2 humidifiers, and my biggest problem is that the humidifier is rated. It's like, oh yeah, it'll dispense the full 2 liters over about 36 hours until you have to fill it again. And I'm like, this thing empties before I go to sleep. Like, the air is so dry in Vegas that I'm here like, okay, no, I actually can't. Like, even that is not effective enough, because now I'm constantly having to refill this humidifier every 8 hours, unless I set it on the lowest setting possible, in which case it does nothing, right? And I'm like, I bought 2. I got one for my office that I stream in here. I got one for the bedroom. And yeah, even trying to just maintain one of them is an absolute colossal pain in the butt. Obviously, when I bought it, I was thinking to myself, well, hey, it says you should only have to refill it about every 36 hours if you leave it on the default mode. And lo and behold, when the air humidity outside is 7%, it turns out that all that water evaporates real quick. And the machines never actually go off of the full power mode. They're always running at 100% because of that. And obviously, I understand, there's just only so much that you can do about that type of stuff. But yeah, that's wild. I thought about whether I should just leave the shower running really long every night before I go to sleep to to quickly do it. Probably the only really crazy weird thing about the apartment I live in that's good is there's no it's like we pay a flat rate for water every month or something like that. They're like the general utilities bill for the building. We just pay $60 a month. It doesn't change. So I have thought about that, and I've been like, well, I guess I could just use my shower to humidify the apartment since it doesn't cost me anything. But yeah, it's kind of wild to think about that. That's the type of stuff that growing up I never really had to worry about or think about, Also, for somebody asking about the exploit in the game, it was already fixed. It was already fixed. Some developers at Blizzard stayed up until the middle of the night to fix that game-breaking bug before GSL happened, actually. Pretty wild. It's actually quite wild to think about. Somebody in my chat did say, just read the blog post on Team Liquid, never knew all that happened to you. Thank you, and keep up the good work. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, I don't try to make my life about the things that have happened to me. I try to make my life about the things that I want to do and the things that I want to happen to me. But, sometimes there are appropriate moments to talk about the more difficult or rough sides of our lives or our past or our histories. And I don't really, I'm not really a big fan of trying to get attention or clout or anything like that. So I don't like talking about that stuff, only because I don't really like the idea that, I'm just kind of putting all my own personal things out there for attention or money or possibility of either, what have you. So I've never really been big on talking about that stuff publicly, which is why a lot of people still don't know about it. And I do prefer to keep it that way. But I do know that some of those words do reach people who are having hard times. And I've had a lot of people tell me over the years that what I share does help them get through their hard times. So every once in a while, it's fun to reminisce, but I think it's real important not to live in the past on this type of stuff, good or bad, right? I try to tell myself every day that my best days are still ahead of me, no matter what, even if the best thing that I do is on my last day, I want to believe that can be possible. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to believe that my best days are behind me. You know, there's always going to be some opportunity to make something happen or do something that I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do. That's why you got to have goals. Yeah, but this Cyclone-based army is still pretty good, though. Considering that I don't really have most of the abilities for these guys, it's not a bad army to have. Actually, really good, easy cleanup, easy mop up. I don't really know how I feel about the laser drill. I guess the whole point is that I don't feel about it. I think the whole point is that I actually don't feel anything about the laser drill prestige. But between you and me, I think that might actually be the exact intended purpose, right? I don't have to think about it. So, you know, I'm just like, hey, we're good, right? That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. This one did end up being a little bit of a short one, but I want to stretch this out. I want to be able to provide co-op content over a long time. So, see you guys next time for some more coffee and co-op. Cheers.